Hello, I'm very excited of reading this book, which is called The Key to Creating Causes for Happiness by His Eminence Lochen Tulku Rinpoche. This book. Uh, as I said in one of the previous videos, I met this person, this Lama, in Kinor, at the monastery in the state of Kinor in northern India. And the book is so interesting, and I'm so excited about reading it. And so I decided to share it with you. So I'm going to read this book by chapters, by a few chapters. Uh, and if you like, you can join the Telegram channel where we are going to discuss it. So the link will be in the comments. Introduction: Listening and teaching Buddha Dharma. Buddha's Dharma means Buddha's teaching. If you are a Buddhist, then you should know how to teach or listen to the Buddha's Dharma. Listening and teaching should be according to the Buddha's Dharma. If you are not a Buddhist but want to learn something about Buddhism, then you can listen to the Buddha's Dharma according to your own motivation. But if you are a Buddhist or a practitioner, then it has to be in a proper way. Therefore, to prepare our motivation to listen to Buddha's Dharma, we are going to recite a prayer. It is a verse with 4 sentences, and it was a great Indian Pandit who wrote these 4 sentences. It is really an important and an effective verse. So all Buddhists should know how to recite these 4 sentences. You can recite it in Tibetan, English, or Chinese, or in any other language. The first 2 sentences are about taking refuge in the 3 jewels. The last 2 sentences are about generating the body-mind. While reciting, we should be mindful of the meaning of these 4 sentences, knowing that we are taking refuge in the 3 jewels and generating the body-mind. Today we should listen to Buddha's Dharma. Today I should reach Buddha's Dharma. Both the teacher and listeners should be both motivated in this way, and this is a very important attitude. Taking refuge in the 3 jewels and generating bodhicitta. Sangi chodang tsok gi chok namla jang chuk bardo dang ni kiab suchi dagi jin songji pedi sonamji drola fan chirsangya drup par shok 3 times. The cause and effect system in Buddhism is what we call karma. This is a very good subject, but it is also vast, profound, and very important for all Buddhists to know, as well as for those people who like to know about Buddhism deeply, because Buddhism is based on this theory. 1.2 The Four Noble Truths. Buddha Shakyamuni gave his first teaching in central India, and the teaching was about the Four Noble Truths, which are all about the cause and effect system. If you know the meaning of the Four Noble Truths, then you know the whole meaning of the Buddhist teachings, which has at least at present in Tibetan Buddhism over 100 texts of Buddha's teachings. It is very important, very vast, and very profound. Yet you must know about the Four Noble Truths if you want to know Buddhism. You cannot avoid this subject. It is such a profound subject that it is not possible to finish talking about karma in 2 hours. But I can give you some indications so you can get some key points to study about karma, and then you should study further if you are interested. Dependent arising. Before I go into the subject, I like to point out a few things that are important for Buddhists. They should be aware of some Dharma terms such as dependent arising, which is also known as dependent origination, which is very important in Buddha's Dharma. So I thought I must tell you a few words you should know and must be aware of, because if you are going to summarize the Buddha's teachings, it can be summarized in 2 points. One is view, philosophy or viewpoint, and the other one is behavior. If you are a Buddhist, you should know how you should behave. A view is dependent arising. All phenomena are originated dependently, not independently. In Sanskrit, it is known as pratitya samutpada. This word has a huge meaning. There are 4 major schools in Buddhism in India, and all 4 major schools explain pratitya samutpada, dependent arising or origination. But according to the old schools, they have different explanations and interpretations. But in Tibetan Buddhism, we consider the Prasangiga school as the highest school, and we interpret Pratitya Samutpada according to Prasangika school. That is one word you should know, Pratitya Samutpada, dependent arising or dependent origination. Everything arises dependently and nothing comes independently. The world, the beings, whatever we see, whatever we feel, anything and everything, even the mind and the feelings arise dependently and are interrelated. It depends on many factors, and only then it can come into existence. If we talk about materials, there are so many parts in a material. There are tiny parts, and the whole material is dependent on each and every atom. If there is one atom missing, then the whole existence cannot be there. For example, in an apple or orange, if one tiny little atom is missing, then the whole apple or orange cannot exist. So it is dependent on each and every part of that material. That is one interpretation of dependent rising. So why is it so important to know about dependent arising or dependent origination? It is important because in our daily lives, happiness and sorrow all arises dependently. We must know the nature of happiness and the nature of sorrow. If we don't know that, then we don't know how to remove sorrow or suffering. We don't know how to create happiness. That is why it is important. We all want happiness. So how to produce happiness? If it arises independently, then you cannot produce it. But you can produce happiness because it is dependent. It is dependent on the cause and effect system. It is dependent on many different factors, and when all factors are met, happiness can be produced. So, everlasting happiness can be produced because it also arises dependently. If everlasting happiness arises independently, then we cannot produce it and we cannot hope for it. But it is not like that. Dependent arising is very positive and good news for us. So we have got to know about that in a profound way. It is also scientific. the relativity theory of science. So we have read a few chapters, and I invite you to the Telegram channel to discuss deeper. So the link will be in the comment. Thank you for listening and watching, and you're welcome to Telegram channel for further study.